We've been making use of that PGSQL tool for quite a bit throughout this course, and now it's time to actually install Postgres on your local machine and understand how to really interact with it. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install Postgres on macOS. So if you are using any other environment, continue on to a further video where I'll show you how to set up Postgres on a different operating system. So if you're still here, I'm going to assume that you're running macOS. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is make sure that you don't already have Postgres installed. Believe it or not, sometimes you install Postgres, a long time goes by, and then you forget that you had ever installed it. It definitely happens. The first thing we're going to do is run a quick command at your terminal to make sure that you don't already have Postgres installed and running. So to do so, I'm going to open up my terminal and run PSQL, like so. Now, what we are hoping to see is something like command not found. That means that Postgres is probably not installed. If you see something that says something like cannot connect, or if you even see a further command prompt, that probably means you already have a copy of Postgres installed or possibly even running right now. If you already have Postgres installed, it's going to present just a little bit of a challenge. In the coming videos, I'm going to ask you to type in some different connection URLs, some different settings. And these different settings are going to change a little bit depending upon how Postgres was installed. So at this point, if you already have Postgres installed and running, I'd recommend you uninstall it and use the same method for installing it that I'm about to show you. Otherwise, it's going to be up to you to figure out some settings in the coming videos. All right, so having said that, there are two possible ways, easy ways, there are more than two ways, but two easy ways to install Postgres on a Mac system. We can either use a desktop application called postgres.app, or we can install it via Homebrew. We can also build from source or install from source. We're not going to cover those options. We're going to take a look in this course at making use of Postgres using the Postgres desktop application. This is definitely the easiest and best way to get started. Another nice thing about it is that it makes it really easy to start and stop the database. So if you ever decide that you don't want to work with Postgres for the coming weeks or months, you can very easily stop it and not have to worry about Postgres making use of resources like RAM or CPU time on your computer. To install Postgres using this desktop application, we're going to open up a new browser tab and go to that address right there. Quick note, if you ever get stuck in the coming videos as we're using Postgres on your machine and you can't quite figure things out, you can always reinstall Postgres. And you can reinstall it by following the uninstall directions at the postgresapp.com website. You'll just take a look at the documentation section and find the link in there about uninstalling. Okay, so I'm going to go to this page, and we'll see something like this up here. So immediately on this page, we're going to go to the Downloads tab. Once there, you're going to see a link to download this. Go ahead and click it. Just to save a little bit of time, I already downloaded this installer before this video. So once your download is complete, you're going to end up with a Postgres DMG file like that. You might actually have a version on there. Totally fine either way. Once you've got that download complete, we're going to run that thing and then do a classic little drag and drop over to applications. We'll then eventually see a little progress bar pop up like this one right here. And after a second or two, that's it, we're pretty much installed. Now, before we start to interact with Postgres or anything like that, there's just a little bit more setup we're going to do. So back on the introduction page, we're going to scroll down a little bit, and you're going to see inside of here step number 3. This command right here, you're going to execute it at your terminal, and that's going to allow you to run some different commands from the terminal to interact with your Postgres server. So we're going to copy that big command right there. We're then going to open up your terminal and run that command. After running that command, we're then going to restart our terminal or just open up a new tab. This is absolutely required. You must restart it or open up a new tab. And then you should be able to run PSQL like so. So I'm going to run that. And you might see an error like this. Now, if you see the error like this, totally fine. All we want to do is make sure that we don't see something that says command not found. All right, so once we get to that point, we're then going to start up our Postgres server by opening up a Finder window. We're going to go to the Applications tab inside of it. There we go. We'll go to Applications. And then inside of here, we should see the Postgres app. So I'm going to double click that to run it. And then we'll see a little window like this appear. So whenever you see this, it means that your Postgres server might be up and running. The first time you run it, you might have to click on the Initialize button on the right-hand side. And then that's it. We're good to go. Server is up and running. Once that is up and running, we can then go back over to our terminal, run PSQL again, and we'll end up getting kicked to another little command prompt like the one you see right here. Once you're in here, you can exit this little prompt. We'll learn a little bit more about what this is all about in just a moment by entering exit or \Q, or you can also hit Control D as well. So any of those, we could do a Q or just a quit. So those are the three ways that we could exit that pSQL shell. Okay, that's pretty much it. Everything is up, installed, and ready to go. Let's take a pause right here and continue in just a moment. On macOS, in addition to Postgres, we are also going to install a tool called pgadmin. pgadmin is a very popular tool that's used to somehow manage or otherwise interact with your running Postgres server. So we're going to download and install pgadmin from pgadmin.org/download. I'll copy that link right away. Open it up inside of a browser tab. And then once here, you can find macOS. Go ahead and download the macOS version. You'll find the DMG file right here. Go ahead and click it, and that'll start up the download. And once again, just to save a little bit of time, I went ahead and downloaded this right before this video. So once it's all done downloading, you're going to find a DMG file. We're going to again open that thing up, hit agree, and then it'll do a little bit of setup for us. After the setup, come on. There we go. We'll find pgadmin listed right there. Now, we do still have to do this drag and drop operation into our applications directory, just like we did with Postgres. But in this case, there's not actually any folder in here that we can nicely drag and drop to. So you need to open up a second Finder window. Make sure you can see that applications folder, hopefully inside of your favorites. And we're going to do a drag and drop over to applications. Once you do that, you're going to eventually see that progress bar pop up very similarly to this. And after a little bit, it's going to eventually copy over entirely to that applications folder. Now it looks like this is going to take a little bit, so I'll pause the video right here. Once that transfer is all complete, I'm going to open up that applications folder and then find pgadmin4 and double click it. The first time you run it, you might be prompted with a little security warning. Just go ahead and make sure you hit open. You'll then see a little window like that, a little startup window, and eventually a new tab will open automatically inside of your browser, just like this right here. Now, if your application doesn't automatically open up inside your browser, you're going to go up to your status bar, find a little icon up here that looks like a little elephant face, and then click on New pgadmin4 window. This little button right here is how we're going to open up pgadmin4 in general after you have closed it. The first time you open up pgadmin4, you're going to be prompted to set up a password. This is a password just to access pgadmin on your local machine. It is solely a security thing to make sure that if anyone else gets access to your laptop, they cannot just open up pgadmin4 and start changing data inside of a database. So you can use any password here you want to use. Me personally, I'm just going to enter in password. Honestly, if anyone gets access to my laptop, I got some bigger issues, and my laptop is already password protected and the hard drive is encrypted. So personally, not a big deal for me. All right, so once we've got that all put together, we're going to add our new server, or the database that we just launched using that Postgres app. Once we do so, we'll then be able to view the data inside the database and also change some settings to it as well. So to add that local database that we just created with the Postgres app, we're going to go to the left-hand side, right-click on Servers, go to Create, and then Server. I'll then enter in a name of localhost. I'm going to go to Connection. Under Host, I will enter in localhost. And then finally, for username right here, we're going to change Postgres to whatever your system username is. So remember, whenever you log on to your macOS system, you log on as a certain user. You're going to put your username right there. If you don't remember what it is, you can always open up your terminal and run who am I, all one word. That will then print out your system username. So for me, it is SG, short for my name, Stephen Greider. So I'll put in SG right there. You are not going to be putting in SG. You'll be putting in whatever your system username is. I'll then click on Save, and that should be it. We should then see localhost appear on the left-hand side. I can then expand databases. And inside of here, you should see two different databases, one called Postgres and another one that is named after your username once again. So I see SG right here. You're going to see a different one named after your username. All right, so that's it. We've got pgadmin set up and Postgres set up as well. Now at this point, you might be saying, hey, what is pgadmin all about? What are we using it for? Well, we're going to do a deep dive on pgadmin because it is a critical part of understanding what Postgres is all about. We're going to do a deep dive on this in due time. So now that we've got everything set up, let's take a pause right here and continue in just a moment.